Hey everybody, this is Bonnie Barker with Bonnie Bay Crochet, and I hope we're live. I'm broadcasting from South Carolina. I'm out of my element. Once again, thank you all for joining me. I'm so sorry to miss you last week, but I really needed the time to get back into the swing of being an elder care person here. And I just need to say that if I need to leave, like lickety split, if I hear something, I need to just go because it's just me here. Hannah, thank you for being there with us, our wonderful moderator, administrator. And let's see, it's beautiful here. It's sun is shining. We did get a little bit of rain, but not nearly as much as we needed today. But anyway, I've got lots and lots of things to show you. Having some technical difficulties. I was not able to print what I needed to print this morning. My computer and the printer are doing this. They're not communicating. So thank you, Hannah. She just confirmed, yes, we are live. So yeah, it's been a busy week here. um, Taking care of somebody else, and it's a joy to do that, and it just gives me such a great appreciation for my daughter and what she is doing to serve our family. I also wanted to wish you all a very blessed Memorial Day weekend. I can't get into talking too much about that because I'm already I just become so affected. I love, love, love my country. I know it's not perfect, but it's the best one that I am aware of that I love. And I say that as an American. So those of you who are outside the US, please don't take that as a slam against your beautiful lands. Okay. I would expect you would feel the same way about your homeland. But I love my country. Anyway, and I just so treasure my freedom that we have here. And I know many people around the world don't have any idea what I'm talking about. They have not experienced the freedoms that I experience and just expect every day. And that's because many people fought and many people died and gave their all for us. So let's take some time to remember that this week. I grew up in a home where my father was a soldier, had fought overseas for the Korean people. Mm, went too far with this already. Anyway, so let's just remember those who gave everything so that we can live freely. All right. I'm going to be doing that a little bit here. No big barbecues or anything like that, but just really trying to meditate on just what we have, which is again not perfect. We know that, but it's actually a quite a grand experiment. And anyway, let me go ahead and just talk about that a bit while I'm talking about Memorial Day weekend. You see the picture that I posted on my thumbnail today, and I wanted to show you a part of that. And this is a preview of a project that I have been working on very hard for a couple of months. It's been in my heart, it's been in my mind for a long time to want to make an 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 American flag that I could be proud of. The first time I ever made an American flag, I was in eighth grade. I was in junior high school, and I made that as part of a project. It was a couple years past the 1776 bicentennial celebration. You know, those of you who were alive during that time, remember everything was red, white, and blue. It was so much fun. And that would be 1976, obviously. And for those of you who aren't familiar with American history, it was the celebration of the writing of the Declaration of Independence. Of course, we did not get our independence from Great Britain until a couple years after that. But that was when the Declaration was written and proclaimed and so forth, of course. Anyway, I have been working on stars. Yes, I have been seeing stars lately, lots and lots of stars. And see, these are going to be going onto my flag. And just in case some of you have never blocked something, let me just show you how beautifully this works. Let me see if I'm going to take a star that hasn't even had anything done to it. After I finish crocheting a star, this is basically what it looks like. Okay. Now, what I have done is I have dipped these in warm water, squeeze the water out, and then set them to dry. And I use these T-pins, of which I have many. I have one, two, and I used 5 of these. Let me show you. And then after you let these dry overnight, this is what it transforms to. So it becomes a usable piece. And if it's not in the exact shape you want, you can actually move it around and make it very much the shape that you want. And I really do enjoy using these blocking boards, which you can see they do come apart, and you can put many of them together. I now own 4 sets of these so that I can block an entire blanket. And let me show you what else I use. Would you believe when I traveled down here, I brought my mats, but I forgot to bring my blocking combs and pins, so I had to order some. So let me go ahead and show you what else I use. The knit blockers, and these are great for Afghans. They have 2 different sizes in here. One is an 8-pin clip, and these are supposed to be rust resistant. I'm not sure those T-pins are, but these definitely are. And then the smaller size, and these just make blocking so much faster. Now, of course, the T-pins, these pins work better. Excuse me. These work better if you have fine points like I did with the stars. But these others work really, really great for throws, Afghans, large shawls, whatnot. And it comes in a little box and with little ridges on the side so you can line them all up. And I do have a link, I believe, in the video description for some of these or something similar. And if you've never had invested in these, it's okay. You don't need to run out and get these, but I have used these so many times. They're very much invaluable to me. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And let me give you some information. Where did it go? Okay, it's over here. For this project. Now, I don't have a reveal picture yet. I was so hoping to have one, but I hadn't planned on doing 50 stars over. So what we have, this blanket is going to be larger than 4 feet by 6 feet. It's going to be slightly larger than that. And let me get my glasses so I can read what I typed in here. And I did use a special yarn because of the significance of our country's upcoming 250th birthday celebration of the Declaration of Independence. I wanted to do something really special. So I did some research to find a reasonably priced 100% USA grown wool. And what I came up with, and this is not a paid endorsement. I paid for this yarn. It was not a comp yarn or anything like that, but I ended up with Lion Brand's yarn. This is Lion Brand, local grown 100% USA wool. And this color, ironically, is called Apple Pie. And so I had used Apple Pie. I used this color called Liberty. For the trim of the throw, I used a color called Barn. And I also used the white, the off-white color, which really gives it an heirloom effect. The off-white color is called Vanilla Bean. And for those of you who are interested, I'm just going to list how many of these that I used. Each of these has 186 yards. So, yeah, so it's a little bit less than what we're used to from the Paintbox yarns. But anyway, on these yarns, I used, let's see, of the blue Liberty, I used 5. Of the Apple Pie in red, I used 11. Of the Vanilla Bean, I used 11. And of the Barn color, I used 4. So if you want to take those numbers and do some calculations, should this be a project that you would want to work on, I will be giving you more information as we come along. And I'm hoping to have a major reveal next week. And it is going to be a stitch sampler. So it's not going to be just all one stitch on the stripes. It's going to be a stitch sampler. And my reasoning for that is because on our money, one of our main logos for our country is E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. So I'm just going to take many different stitches and we're going to combine them into one, kind of symbolic of the melting pot that we have here in our country. And I'm so excited about this. So I hope you can join me with, if you're interested in making this. Obviously, if you're not from the US, this isn't going to mean a lot to you. So I just do beg your indulgences here for a little bit, because this is something that's only going to come around once. And this is probably the last time we have a major celebration like this in my lifetime. So I'm real excited about that. Um, anyway, just wanted to get that major reveal off of my chest. If you're a watch subscriber, you've already seen a sampling of what I've done, but it was not nearly completed. And I'm really excited to get to that point of it being completed. All right. So let me go ahead and jump into the chat. Wow, got a lot of people. Let me go ahead and reorganize this so that I get the live chat as it comes in. So if I'm reading this in, you don't hear me reading your comment, please know that there's different ways to view the live chat. There's the live chat, which is what I have brought up on my computer, and I'm just going with what I have. If you have top chat, that is going to be in a slightly different order. And I promise you, I'm not trying to show preference to anybody. I'm trying to be as inclusive as I possibly can. Brad's mom, great to have you. She says, good morning, Bonnie, Hannah, Becky, and all my dear yarnies. Please, friends, don't forget to smash that thumbs up button. Thank you for reminding me of that, Linda. I always forget. And she also says, a blessed Memorial Day to all. Thank you. And Angie, good morning to you. And Phil says, good morning from Carson, California, loading up for Bismarck, North Dakota. Wow. I'm going to get to some of those places sometime, Phil. That's just amazing what you do. And again, thank you for the way you serve all of us with your trucking skills, bringing us all that we need. And Mary W., great to have you. And Sono, good morning. She says, good morning from Oklahoma City. And Mary says, hello from Springfield, Missouri. Wow. And Kim is joining us from West Texas. And again, Hannah, our administrator, is with us. Thank you again, Hannah. And Alana says hi to everyone. So good to be here. Great to have you. And Red Hooks says, hello, Bonnie, Hannah, and everyone in the chat. It's been 11 days since I had surgery on my broken leg, and I'm doing well. Thank you, everyone, for your prayers. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that you're doing well. Just hoping, praying for quick healing. Incorrect healing too, because I have a friend who's anyway, I won't get into all that, but I do hope and pray that everything heals quickly. And Jesus Joy 7, great to have you with us. She says, yes, I'm a patriot, love America. Yep, I do too. Thank you. And Beach Girl says, love that message. Thank you so much, Beach Girl. And sweet a chair. I said, anyway, says, so happy to not have my usual meeting this morning and join you all. Happy Friday from Southern Cal. Well, welcome. And I'm sorry, not pronouncing your name. Oh, it's Swati. Okay, Swati, got it. That threw me. Swati, I'm out of practice here. It's been 2 weeks since I've done this. And Kathy says, good morning. My father was also in Korea, was shot and recovered. God bless America. Wow. Well, God bless you all, Kathy. I don't know if your dad is still with you. I hope he is, but we lost mine 23 years ago. Whew. It's been a long time, but it's still a sore spot. Anyway, whew. And Swati says, hope everyone is doing well. Yes, ma'am. And she says, gearing up for more surgery in a couple weeks. Pretty tired, but otherwise well. Swati, please keep me in touch. Keep me informed if you can. I would love to just keep up with what's going on. And Manila Shirley says, God bless you, Bonnie, and everyone from Western PA. Hey, I've got another child living in your state. now, Manila Shirley. Two of my kids and their beautiful wives are now Pennsylvania, um, living in Pennsylvania. One in Pittsburgh. We talked about that, I guess, and the other in York. And I can just also report good news that my son starts a new job in Harrisburg on Tuesday. Praise God. Yes. So only one more job to get for a child and a spouse. So we're still praying for one more job for another person in our family. Um, and Red Hook says to Hannah, yes, I'm doing very, very little pain. So glad to hear that. Um, and Hannah said, my grandmother had a boyfriend who fought in Korea and died. Ooh, I remember when this happened. But his body wasn't brought back until 50 years later. And my mom's dad drafted to Korea and made it back. Yeah, I remember that. That was in the news here locally in South Carolina. Whew, so much going on. Uh, it's been a long week, guys. So thanks for being patient. And Diane from New Jersey. Welcome, Diane. I've got some kiddos heading up to New Jersey this weekend, actually, to buy a friend's car. So this is a small world here we have online. And Alana, glad to have you. And let's see. And I'm just going to let you talk with you guys and Hannah, just kind of skip over some of that. And Sweet a chair. Oh, I'm sorry, Swati. Okay, get that fixed in my head. Will do, Hannah. Thank you. So Swati says, I have 4 sets of blocking mats, 4 boxes of combs, tons of T-pins, and also blocking wires, but I definitely use it all. Yeah. I've got some blocking wires too. I just haven't used them quite yet. I need to get better at using them. And Trish, raving right back at you. And Jesus Joyce 7 is talking to Phil. It says, I hope you're off for Memorial Day. That would be nice. But all right. And Margaret says, hello, friends. Been a while from Mary in South Carolina. Lots of health issues for a while, but God's grace and mercy is in abundance. Well, welcome. Waving at you from not too far from Myrtle Beach. And Phil says, I have to work for now, but I will be off for Memorial Day. Yay, which is great since it is my birthday. Well, happy birthday, Phil. That's wonderful. And Janet says, hello. Hello, Janet. And Jesus Joy 7 says, I use that Lion brand yarn and it's a nice yarn. Yeah, I didn't really talk much about it. I actually do like this. I will be honest. And let me say another thing about this. The cost was a bit more than I normally would pay for a project. But because this is a special project, I want this to be an heirloom project, and I wanted it to be made out of yarn made in the US. And it is really hard to find yarn that is made inside the US. So that's why I went ahead and got this. I might use it again for smaller projects like hats and scarves, but this will probably be the only throw that I make with it. I did like it though. It was very consistent. I really like the stitch definition. It is a very good yarn. Of course, caring for 100% wool item is just going to be a little trickier than if it was something that you can just throw into the washer or into the dryer. So this will probably be something that I keep very special, or if I, use it as a gift, it'll be for a very special gift. Something that's not going to need to be washed and dried a lot, because obviously with wool, it's going to be a little more troublesome. That said, I wanted to say 2 things, getting back to the American flag project. If you want to make this project, please don't feel compelled that it has to be this yarn. This was my personal choice. If you want to try this yarn, that's fine. But if you are on a stricter budget, I totally get that. The acrylics are fine. There's nothing wrong with using Paintbox yarns as a substitute, or Red Heart or Aran or whatever you find locally that's accessible to you. The other thing I wanted to mention is that right now, excuse me, Lion Brand is having a 30% off. You have to have a special code. So if you're looking for the code, you can email me. This is, I don't have anything special to do with them necessarily, but I am on a mailing list. So if you're on the Lion Brand's mailing list, you would have gotten an advertisement about this, and all their yarn is going to be 30% off this weekend. So 30% off of the price of this yarn is actually pretty good. And when I bought this originally, it was all 30% off, which brought this down to about $7 for one of these, which again is about 3.5 times what I'm normally used to paying. So all anyway, just wanted to do full disclosure there. As you know, I'm not a sales artist. I mean, not a salesman in the sense of you got to buy this, you got to have this. You're not going to be happy unless you have this. That's not the way I roll at all. Um, I'm not gonna be super rich because of that, but I'm happy. I'm content to just say it as it is, give it to you straight. No pressure from me ever. If you ever feel pressure, you let me know, and I will, definitely try to back off. I can get excited about some things, but it's only because it's something that I believe in. Okay, not because I'm trying to make a quick buck on you guys. You are my friends, and I don't see you as an audience to exploit, but as an audience to befriend and to just share, to build a strong community with each other. All right. But thank you for telling me that you have used that. Yeah, it is good yarn. It is good yarn. And Trish says yarn has gotten too expensive these days, sadly. Well, yeah, everything is unfortunately, but I haven't, well, yeah, it is. And it's really hard too because the choices have been taken away. We don't have people, there's not a lot of competition. I guess there is in some ways, but a lot of the stores in our areas have been closed. I mean, we have in my neck of the woods up in Maryland, we have Michael's, and there's a little bit of yarn at Walmart, and that's all basically the same kind of stuff. And that's all that I have available to me. Our Hobby Lobby, okay, I know some of you aren't excited about this. I'm thrilled about it, because we have another choice, and that's going to be opening June 1st. Now I know they don't carry the same kinds of yarns that the other two stores carry, which kind of gives us more choices. So, and I'm excited to go back home in a week or two and get to see the new store. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough out there. Anyway, Barbara's here. She says, "Sounds great, Bonnie. I am a Heinz 9." Ha ha ha. Yep, same here. I guess you're referring to the thing about the United States and America. I'm also a or I used to say Heinz 57, or basically culture, not culturally, but my heritage. I'm part of the melting pot, a little bit of a mutt, some people might say. German, a lot of German, at least a third Irish, and I know there's maybe 5 or 6% Native American. I mean, somehow all of this mixes in. So definitely out of many, one. Um, you're so sweet, Red Hook. Wishing Phil a happy birthday. Just hope you have a great day off. Yeah, we all do, Phil. And Kendall Price says, hello from Wichita, Kansas. And Mary says, true about the yarn. It's Hobby Lobby sale if I get any. Yeah, they have some good sales too. I'm looking forward to becoming more familiar with their yarn, not having one of those in my area like ever. I've not really been able to depend on that for a yarn source. So I will look into that more going forward. And Robin says, just popping in to say hi. Was great to see you at the Frederick Fiber Festival. Yes, Robin. I made the hits video. We still need to do lunch. Absolutely, Robin. Once I get back, if you don't mind being the one to contact me, because I do better to respond rather than to initiate when it comes to things like that, because I love my work a lot and I have a lot of it, and I can just work right on through and not take the time away from my work that I probably should. And your work, by the way, Robin, your work, I believe it was you who had a project at at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. It was beautiful. I didn't get to see. I know that my daughter-in-law did well. She did a second place. I didn't get a chance to look at the first place in crochet. I couldn't find it or just didn't spend enough time looking for it. Um, I also had my daughter and 2 young children with me, and we were kind of keeping things moving so that they didn't get too unsettled. I'll just say that, but I didn't get a chance to really study, the differences in how the judges did what they did. But anyway, congratulations on your ribbon. I think you got like a 5th place, which is really good there. But anyway, I hope you had a chance to look at the different things, and also just keep in mind that the number of categories there at the Maryland Sheep and Wool are just a bit limiting in my personal opinion. But maybe once they expand them even more, it'll be a little bit more forthright as to how things shake out. Hmm. Yeah. Is it Sweet Char? I'm sorry, I'm not reading your name correctly. She says, I don't know why my name isn't showing up correctly. It used to. Yeah, I don't know what changed there either, but I noticed, some of these are just coming up kind of weird. Um, Swati, yes, 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 Swati. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Um, and Susie Pop's Creations, good to have you in the chat. Loved seeing your things. Yeah, Hannah says it's a Google thing. Let me bring Hannah up. I had you up, Hannah, but then yeah, okay, gotcha. I just wanted to try to balance a couple things here going on, and without using my cheat sheet that would not come out of that confounded printer behind me for some reason. I don't know why. It just doesn't like me. um, and Carolyn the corn dog says, "Good morning from Northern California, the San Francisco Bay Area." Wow, I would love to go see San Francisco at some point. I always see it in the movies, but and flew to the airport one time, but it was on my way to somewhere else far, far away. Um, and Beth, good to have you. She says, hi, Bonnie, both here from cloudy Cleveland. Well, I hope you and Terry are doing well. Miss you gals. I hope to see you in Pittsburgh at some point. Um, but I know it's not easy to just get up and go for a lot of you. Um, And Sono says, hi, Bonnie. It's Chris. Okay, Chris in Oklahoma City. Rainy day off. We're off and on here. Well, I tell you what, if you all get tired of that rain, send it to South Carolina because we need the rain. It's kind of drought conditions. We did get a little bit of rain this morning, and we're expecting a little bit more this weekend. So hopefully the weatherman is right. Um, all right. I'm sorry, Swati, to hear about your kitty. I hope she gets better. And is it Sever Angel says hello from a sunny Nova Scotia. Wow. Well, welcome from Nova Scotia. You have a beautiful land. I can say that because I got to see it in the fall, which was just absolutely gorgeous driving through Nova Scotia and in New Brunswick and up and through Prince Edward Island. Uh, all right, and then talking technology with Hannah and Swati. And Kim says, my husband served 22 years as a flight engineer in the Air Force. Well, thank you for that service. That's wonderful. um, all right, and Manila Shirley says, I know where both of those places are, and I've been to both of them myself. The best of everything to them and their families. Maybe PA will get to see you a little more often. Oh, yes, ma'am. I am hoping to soon as I get back home or thereabouts, I want to go visit my son Hudson and his beautiful wife Molly and in their new old townhouse, the one that was built in 1875 is pretty interesting, very very interesting. Um I'm looking forward to that. Molly tells me that there is a yarn store almost within walking distance of the house. I mean, that's like a dream, right? Or a terrible temptation. I don't know which. Um, but I'm looking forward to just seeing what's, in her neck of the woods, and hanging out with them and seeing their place with their actual furniture and stuff moved in instead of a bunch of empty rooms under construction and being painted. So it'll be nice to see that. And oh, Hannah says they also have a lot of antique stores in Pennsylvania. Oh, yes, they do. And I love going to antique stores. I went to one yesterday just up the street from where I am. Very, very fun. Didn't find anything. I'm always looking for antique rings, but and just things that I will actually wear, but didn't have any luck yesterday, which is fine. So my money is safe. All right. And Manila Shirley says, yeah, there are, Hannah. Oh, someone going to New Jersey too. I was born next to the ocean side there. A push too hard, and I would have been a mermaid. Oh my goodness. Yep, probably. And Bonita Alexander says, good morning from Dallas, Texas. Well, hello, or should I say howdy? For those of you coming from Dallas, I love visiting Dallas. Enjoyed watching the IndyCar race there back in 2022 at the Speedway. That was so much fun. And of course, the DFW Fiber Festival was a lot of fun as well. And Swati says, I'm too lazy to change it. Okay, talking about, yeah, I guess that laziness paid off a little today. Yeah, she's concerning about the technical thing online, trying to get her name changed there. And Manila Shirley says, I'm partial to both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Yeah, I've had people living in both of those places. All right, well, let me go back to my little list here that I have on my computer. And I have things to show you, but I also have something that I can't show you because I left it at home. This coming Monday, I have a brand new scarf coming. If you're on the Watch channel, you've already seen it. You've already seen the pattern. It's up on the Watch channel. But it's called the Easy Primrose Scarf. It's an easy repeat pattern that is completely reversible, and it's a one hank wonder in the sense that it just takes one hank of fingering weight yarn. If you don't want to use fingering weight yarn, and if you want to use thicker yarn, I believe I put the information into the written pattern and into the video where you can adjust. You can use larger, thicker yarn, as long as you upsize your hook to the size that you would like, to match the yarn. And I think it's multiples of 4. You just subtract multiples of 4, or just crochet multiples of 4 to the width you desire, and you can make your scarf. It's as simple as that. And it's a fun scarf. And I use the Yarnsmith yarn again. Yarn that I picked up in Pittsburgh last August that I've been holding on to, studying, wondering what it should become. And that's what I came up with. And I hope you enjoy that one. It'll be, again, coming live onto YouTube on Monday. And the patterns are already up in my Lovecraft store and in my Etsy online store if you're looking for that. But just know that the video does not go live until Monday. Now, again, if you're on the Watch channel, everything is there for you. So enjoy. And for those of you who don't know what the Watch channel is, it's a subscriber paid channel. And you can watch all my videos that are up there. And there's additional material that does not appear here publicly as well. There's some behind the scenes. There's some classes on there and some other perks. And you can watch all of that ad-free. It's commercial-free. You won't be interrupted by anybody selling you anything. And we set that up specifically so that it would stay that way. And you can also download the PDFs complimentary for many of these patterns that I designed. And everything new coming out, you will get the pattern complimentary just for being a Watch member. So anyway, you can check that out. There is a link in the video description should you be interested in that. And I'm working on another project. I finished the video and the writing this week. It'll be coming out in a few weeks. I made a new, Let me put this out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Ooh, a new dishcloth pattern. And let me let you look at this. I'm calling this the drifting weave. Okay. You see the, and it's actually a pattern that is one of the many patterns that I'm using in the American flag. And I thought, well, it'd probably be a good idea to put something out there so you can get a little bit of practice. And I did not use, what did I use? I didn't use the thick, cumbersome, if I can say that, the kind of cotton that you get at the big box stores. That's a number 4 weight. I used a number 3 weight. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as rough on my hands. This I used, again, I'm not trying to uh, push this on you guys. And I don't work for Love Crafts per se, but this is their Paintbox yarns. It says the Cotton DK. It's a number 3 weight. And I really do like it because it's going to allow me to do more dishcloths with different kinds of texture without the texture getting to be crazy too big, if you know what I mean. But each of these dishcloths took about one of these. You have a little bit of yarn left over. You have yeah, maybe 20 yards left over, but or how many yards? I'll say about 10 yards or so left over. But one of these makes one of these dishcloths. And for those of you who don't know, you guys are smart, you know all this, but for those of you who don't know, whenever you make a dishcloth, make it out of 100% cotton. If you make it with acrylic, it's going to rip up. And if you can do an experiment and make one out of 100% acrylic, it's going to rip up almost immediately. If you try scrubbing a dirty pot, I'm talking a dirty pot, these will hold up. And I have dishcloths made of cotton in my side drawer of my kitchen that are at least 20 years old. Now the color doesn't stay for 20 years. Obviously, the color is going to be the first thing to go, but because of the strong detergents and whatnot. But the actual cloths, I have things that my daughter made when she was learning to crochet. That was one of the first things she learned was dishcloths, and I still have some of them in my side drawer. But anyway, so this is coming soon. Don't have a date for it yet, but look for it probably sometime. What is this? This is we're in May. It might be the end of May. We'll see. I'll try to get this out and see what we can do. But this is a lot of fun, and I didn't use the knurl. I used the twisted single crochet, which is the easier version. So, and I demonstrate that in this video, trying to roll that out a little bit more often now that I understand what it is, and you can probably see it better here. And it looks, I'm not trying to boast here, but I think using that twisted single crochet, it can make this stitch look nearly perfect. And I think it'll be a good way to practice that. Anyway, look for that coming soon. I've got a story to tell you in a bit, but let me get through some of this. Yeah, okay. Barbara says Alaska needs Hobby Lobby. Yeah, it sounds like you need a lot of things up there, Barbara. It sounds like you make do. It's amazing what you do with what you have, living so remotely. And Barbara's also just an excellent seamstress and really great at doing quilting and things like that. So very, very, not to mention growing your own food, canning your own food. Just to scratch the surface as to what you do up there. And Jesus Joy says everything is expensive. Went to breakfast for an omelet. They charged separately for each ingredient added. Paid $20 with a drink. Ooh, I'll make you an omelet for $20. I'll be making some money. I bought a whole 18 eggs for about $3 the other day. So yeah, wow. Yeah, things are expensive. I think when it comes to eating out too, I don't want to get into an economic discussion because I'm definitely not an economist, but I do know that when you raise the minimum wage to nearly a professional wage, I know it's not everywhere, but in some places they do that. That translates right over to the price for the customer, and that's hard. And yeah, it's just yeah, it's a tricky game. Not to say that people shouldn't do well, as far as that goes. I don't want to get into a politically charged discussion on that, but um, my first job was making $1.90 an hour, and I won't get into all that, but it was hard work. Um, and I was blessed. It taught me a lot. Taught me a lot. Anyway, we have Eric Ham. Is it Eric? Is Eric? Again, these names where they're changing them, forgive me, but they joined us from Lebanon, Connecticut. Well, welcome. And Jesus Joy says, that's California. We're paying $6 and up for gas. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, we're not paying that much down here. Wow. That's about a third more than we're paying. Anyway, and Robin said, I did get fifth, I think, because this is back to the Maryland sheep and wool. I think the best in showpiece was beautiful with somewhat questionable color choices. Orange and pink were really eye smarting. I'm so glad you could see my work. Yeah, Robin, that's yeah, I have a whole chapter, I think, just talking about this in the book, and that's where you have to kind of hold some of these decisions of the judges lightly, because yeah, color choices. I mean, the sweater, I saw the sweater. The sweater was nice. It was nice, but it was not something that I would desire to make or wear. So, um, so yeah, and that's why when as far as designing things, I like to I just design stuff that I want to wear, that I want in my home, that I enjoy. Not trying to make the runway in Paris. I mean, that's just not me at all. But yeah, I get that. And then some people elevate certain types of crochet, as being greater, better than others. And yeah, it's always in the eye of the beholder. And if the judge, everybody, there's not going to be an impartial judge. We're all going to have our certain partialities. So but that's that. And you just have to know that when you enter a contest like that, it's the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And we don't all have to agree with the results. But your work was beautiful. Keep keep trying. I would just say, learn from it. That's what I did for years. Just learn from it, and then look at the criticism. And even I remember someone saying that, even when all you get is criticism, look for the 10% that's true. Even if you don't agree with what they're saying overall, look for that 10% where you can improve, and then just learn from it and go. And in fact, that is an excellent segue into a story. Let me go ahead and tell this story. I just want to apologize in advance. If I don't get to all of your comments today, I will look at them after, I promise. A lot going on today, but I did want to share this story. Okay. Um, these stars. Okay, these stars. I want you to know that this was a cosmic failure for me this week. Why? Well, like I said, I had hoped to show you this completed blanket. Yes. And I'm not able to. And it's because I had to, and I didn't find this out until everything was crocheted, all the strands hidden, and these were blocked. Okay. These are my original stars. I thought, oh, these should be fine. I went to put them on the blue field, and they're just too big. Okay. This is what I ended up with. So these are, definitely smaller. Wait a minute. Is that right? Yeah. These are a little bit, trust me. Yeah. These are smaller. These are bigger. Okay. Anyway, just enough to where these fit beautifully. These did not. But I didn't know that until I had 50 done. And to make matters even more interesting, I had one skein of the white left. So I used that to make the new stars until I ran out of yarn. And so what that meant is about half of these stars that I made, I had, after being blocked, I had to find the knot where I fastened off and hid the yarn and undo them and then recrochet them. Okay. So a little bit of an epic fail here on my part. I mean, this is just this was the thing I was alluding to in my Facebook post about having to spend, after spending 2 days, 3 days crocheting the stars and doing all this prep work, then it was for nothing. But was it for nothing? I don't think so. Because so what I've decided to do is I'm going to save these blocked stars, and I can use these on the backs of. I can use these as applique on jeans jackets, red hook, you know what I'm talking about. Put some pearls and some pretty shiny things around them. This could be a very fun project for the backs of jackets. But anyway, but I did learn, okay, next time be a little more careful with your measurements. Um, I was just a little more free flowing on that one than I shouldn't have been. But again, instead of just curling up in a ball and crying about this, or just hitting myself in the head, stupid, 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 stuff like that. I wanted to read something to you that I actually ran across this morning, and please, if I don't want to, I'm not trying to trigger anybody with whom I'm reading about. Okay, I just thought this was an interesting post, and I have okay, I'm going to read you something. It's a comment. It's about Elon Musk. So I don't know where any of you all are on that. And again, this is not a political statement here. We happen to follow what he does because we're very much into aerospace, to what NASA does, to rockets. We love watching rockets. And in fact, tonight, yesterday, their rocket launch of Starship had to be scrubbed, which means it was a no-go. And we were there watching it, and they kept resetting the last 40 seconds until eventually they said, okay, it's a no-go. But they did find their problem, and they're going to they're going to try again for tonight. So in the way they put it on there, so that'd be 5:30 Central Time, 6:30 Eastern Time, they're going to attempt another launch of Starship. But let me read this. This is concerning failure, and we talk a lot about ripping things out, and I get a lot of people, sometimes angry with me because of a mistake or something. I want you to hear I just want you to hear this. And it says, Elon Musk's first wife once described what it's like to watch him fail. She said he didn't react the way normal people react. When a rocket explodes, most people in the room go silent. Some cry. Some start calculating the financial damage. Musk pulls out his phone and starts making calls. Not emotional calls, engineering calls. What failed? When can we fix it? When's the next launch? His voice doesn't change. His face doesn't change. The rocket that just cost 60 million is already in the past. The next one is all that exists. She said it was the most unsettling thing she'd ever witnessed, not because he was cold, because he genuinely wasn't affected. The failure didn't register as failure, and this is the part I wanted you to hear. It registered as data, an experiment that produces results that inform the next experiment. And that's exactly what it was for me. It's like, okay, well, that didn't work. I promise I did not cry. I'm not equating myself to this person, because if I had a $60 million rocket, I would probably be devastated. I know I would, if I even had $60 million, but that's another story. But anyway, he says it registered as data, an experiment that produced results that informed the next experiment. And that is why he wins, not because he doesn't fail. He fails more spectacularly than anyone in history. He wins because failure occupies almost zero psychological space. It enters as data and exits as action. Most people lose not because they fail, but because they spend weeks processing the failure before acting again. Musk spends 0 seconds. That's debatable, but anyway, that is a nice thought. The gap between failure and the next attempt is a phone call. And then another comment I saw near this post was, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. And that's what I've been trying to say for a long time, with making mistakes. And people oftentimes will get discouraged with my work doing these new stitches because they can't do it the very first try. Therefore, something's wrong with the pattern, something's wrong with the writing, something's wrong with them, whatever. It's a bad idea, right? Well, no, maybe you just need to work at it a little bit more. I mean, that's how I learned what I learned, and trust me, I've got boxes of mistakes, that take up some space in my house, that I go back to again and again, thinking that maybe this stitch will work in a different scenario that I'm currently working with, and that's why I always save my swatches and even my some of my mistakes. Um, and a quote from Albert Einstein: "Failure is success in progress." I need to make a T-shirt with that, with lots of yarn around it. Failure is success in progress. So, again, I'm not trying to trigger anybody with a political figure here at all. It's just the idea, just if we can separate, just the idea that I just shared, about, failure is part of success. And that's just such a fun idea that I need to get and keep into my head the next time failure comes, which is probably right around the corner. But yeah. Oh, sweet. Thank you, Swati. Hannah sent me Swati's suggestion that we could put the failed stars together for a tree garland for a Christmas tree. That's a beautiful idea. Wow. And I could use all my real pretty little glitzy things on that too. Thank you for that idea, Swati. That's why we need each other. We don't all have the same thoughts here. Um, anyway, so thank you for Robin for prompting that. That was perfect. Do I need anything? Do I have anything else to share? Let me look at my list one more time. I do want to tell you about Stitchburg, um, which you may be familiar with, the Pittsburgh Creative Arts Festival. Well, they're calling it Stitchburg now. Stitchburg Fiber Festival. It's going to be, on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and in Mars, Pennsylvania. So talking about space and rockets too, we're going to Mars for Stitchburg, which is going to be so cool. It's supposed to be a nicer hotel from where it had been. Where it was fine, but again, we didn't go there for the hotel per se, but for what happens at the hotel, which is this wonderful fiber festival with classes and whatnot. Class sign up is open now. So if you are interested in any of my classes, please take a look. There will be a link in the video description. This is going to be August 21st through the 23rd at the Doubletree by Hilton. Pittsburgh Cranberry is the name of the hotel. And here are the classes. I'm going to be teaching 3 classes on Friday. In the morning is going to be multiple ways to crochet ribbing. After lunch will be intro to reading crochet patterns and stitch diagrams. Okay, those are the 2 classes then on Friday. Saturday, 3 classes. That's August 22nd at 8 o'clock in the morning. So for you early risers, beginning knitting for crocheters. I hope that 8 a.m. doesn't scare people away. This is one of my favorite classes in the whole wide world to teach. It's just so much fun to see the lights go on. And people that were like me, who just took 50 years before I could find someone to make it understandable. And 11:45, which is right before lunch, Celtic Weave and Beyond. And then in the afternoon, crocheting the Saxon cable. So those 3 classes, these are again on Friday and Saturday. The conference also goes through Sunday. I just don't like to teach on Sunday. So that's all the newsy stuff I have for you. Um, Let me see if there's anybody I missed here. If I missed your comment, I apologize. Um, and Margita, good to have you in the chat. And Helen says, I think I did this right. If so, good afternoon from Helen in Scranton, PA. Yes, you did. Um, oh, I know where that is. I've been through there before. And Archer Nace, oh, pretty good to have you. Great to have you. She says that that is one pretty scarf. Oh, thank you. So you must have seen it then. And Phil says, so is the scarf made using the primrose stitch? It absolutely is, Phil. Just the same stitch that's in the primrose baby blanket. I just thought the stitch needed to come to be more visible. And I just really enjoy the stitch. I also included that in the American flag project. So, yeah. And I just had a ton of things load. I'm probably not going to get everything. Oh, thank you, Linda. She says, I love the watch channel. I appreciate that. And Archer Nace, I don't know about PA. Archer is 18 now. He has issues with me being away. That's understandable. There will be more conferences, but I know there's not always going to be an Archer. So, yeah, I get that. And Manila Shirley says, that's a gorgeous pattern for your dishcloth. Well, thank you. It was so much fun to do. And again, it looks so complicated. That's what I love about these stitches. It looks mind-boggling, but it's not. So once you understand the secret, you'll get it. No problem. Oh, she's so sweet. Thank you. um, Carol and the corn dog says, I'm excited for those dishcloths. Boast away. It's well deserved. Thank you. Um, And Jesus Joy 7 says, I like number 3 weight cotton for those kinds of pattern. Yeah. Lion Brand 24/7 is great. Oh, is that also? If, I didn't realize that was a number 3. I hadn't looked at that in a while. So yeah, definitely. I just like the thinner cotton weights, because cotton with a number 4 weight just tends to pull a lot on my hands when I crochet with it. And Helen says she likes the slanted style. Aw. So the little cat says he's awesome, just a little clinger. Oh, how sweet. He may not know he's a cat. And Phil says, I recently learned why California gas is so much higher. They buy crude from Korea, which is sweeter, so they can get the lower emissions. It costs more per barrel. Hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I always wonder what those differences due to the engines being kind of a gearhead at times. So, yeah. And Alana, thank you so much for your comment there. Jesus Joy 7 says they're paying fast food workers $20 an hour. Well, they're making more money than I am. Than regular restaurants are trying to compete. So this adds more cost. Yeah. There you go. There you go. A lot of these jobs where we started out as, forgive me for saying this, I'm not trying to be offensive to anybody, but the jobs that are really supposed to be starter jobs anyway, to teach you responsibility and whatnot, like the job I had in high school and even through college, we never made much at all. Not to say that that was good, but just to say that was just the way things are. And it did teach you, you learn from it, and you grow from that experience. But these bottom line jobs are not meant to be careers. I mean, they're meant to be, places to start. But yeah, that's really hard. Um I don't Okay, thank you for sending that to me, Hannah. Sono asked when I was releasing the pattern for the flag blanket. Don't have a release date yet. I still have a lot of work to do to get the videos and the pattern written and tech edited. I'm going to try to do this quickly. My goal is as early in June as possible. That's my goal. Uh, I cannot promise an exact date just yet, just because I need to work this through. The project is completed itself. It's just getting that information in a format that is acceptable is what takes just about as much time as actually crocheting it. So I need to get that settled and get it back from my tech editor. Then I'll be able to get a release date for this. Oh, good, Swati. I'm glad you can get that fixed. Um, And Hannah is telling Jesus Joy 7, yeah, I know that when I was working at the grocery store, um, the minimum wage went up to $15 an hour. And yeah, and as soon as, yeah, and guess whose hours got cut? Yeah. So they were paying Hannah $15 an hour, which is great because that was the law. But instead of getting 30 hours, they reduced her to like 8 hours a week. So that's what happens. So the people at the bottom still are the ones paying the price, and it's hard. Uh yeah, yeah, that was tough to see my girl go through that. But it's just what the game that they play because it's the little people are the ones who pay. Um, Archer Nay says, I want one of the failed stars for Archer. I'll infuse it with catnip. Okay, remind me of that. Email me and remind me of that. I may send you one. um, And okay, from MMM 12 says, does it matter if the cotton is mercerized or not for dishcloth or pot holders? You probably don't want to use that kind of cotton. I don't think it would hurt, but generally mercerized cotton is going to be yeah, I don't know. I don't think you're gonna want that because that's gonna be more expensive. I would go for the more economical yarn that is not treated in that way. I don't think that's not gonna be required, if that makes sense. So usually it's the more cost-effective yarns that are used for this. I could be wrong about that though, so, um, yeah, Jesus Joy 7 talking to Hannah. That's why several companies are going to automation, fewer workers. It's sad. California's not friend. Okay, yeah. Yep. Lots of that going on. And then Carol George says, hi, Hannah, Bonnie, and all. Carol Beth here in sunny Oregon. Hope and pray you all are well. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, doing fine. Um, yep, got a good discussion here going, Hannah. Thank you. Talking about the automation. Makes me sad that work is becoming automated instead of educational or character building. I know humans can help take care of the machines, but the human brain is capable. Yeah. Have you anybody been to McDonald's lately? Uh, um, you have to everything McDonald's, Taco Bell. I mean, they all have automated machines that you place your order on. It's yeah. That's how they deal with higher minimum wage is eliminating jobs so they can pay those who have to be there. Yep. Oh, Brat's mom says I'd wear that T-shirt, one in every color. Okay, Brat's mom, I will think about making something like that. Yeah, well, it is already 1:02, and I do need to check on my mother-in-law. I am going to read the rest of your comments. So please don't be discouraged that I didn't get to all of these. It's already after 1, and I did have something really, really encouraging to read to you. Let's see if I can find out where it is. Hold on a second. Anyway, I was gonna read to you a bit from this little booklet, Before You Open Your Bible by Matt Smethurst. He's actually a pastor out of Richmond, Virginia, and it's endorsed by Paul David Tripp. If any of you know who that would be, this was given to us for Mother's Day at our church, and it's a one of these little books where you just read a couple pages a day before you have a quiet time, sit and read your Bible, and it's been really, really, really good. Um, and I wanted to read you something out of a chapter, and the title of the chapter is Approach Your Bible Joyfully. And again, this is just generally Christian encouragement, but hopefully it'll encourage everybody. Um, we've talked about a lot of different things during this hour. At least I have. And there are a lot of things going on in the world that are important that we don't talk about. We try to stay politically just neutral on things, but I can't deny my faith. My faith is what gets me through a lot of these bad times. And it's also what keeps me from crying when I make 50 stars that are the wrong shape. That's nothing compared to things that are happening, and I am not oblivious to that. But this is our happy space, and I want to give you what encourages my heart and what brings me joy. And I just thought this paragraph by the author Matt Smethurst was very insightful. He writes, "Gladness of heart, Jeremiah discovered, is downstream from the feast." Okay, let me read that again. Gladness of heart or joy, Jeremiah discovered, is downstream from the feast, i.e., it's not always immediate. The same is true today. Despite what our culture tells you, real joy is not found in listening to yourself. It's found in listening intently to God. It's found when your delight is in the law of the Lord. When your happiness is tethered not to circumstances, but instead to promises. When you can't get enough of your Bible. So, idea, you know, pointing to the promises that God has for us in His Word. So, anyway, I hope that encourages you. It really did me this morning. It gave me a moment to pause, and I hope hope that that serves you all well. Um, I just wish you a wonderful week. I don't know what next weekend, my next Friday holds. There's a lot of, again, moving parts. I will be here if I can. If not, I will put a notification in the comment, the notification section here on YouTube, as well as on Facebook and other social medias that I'm connected to. So I wish you all a wonderful week, a very, very meaningful Memorial Day weekend, and hope to see you next week. God bless. Bye bye.